Historical reconstruction of Arian X.
Episode 76, The Rebellion of Feudal Lord Yao. Now, from now on, you will see the reality of how the single history of Scythian Aryans, which was in Turkmenistan, Central Asia, was split, fabricated, and transplanted to the current countries called China and Korea. Please keep in mind the fact that in the society of Jejeongbunli, separation of religion and politics, there were no set means or methods in how to seize the imperial castle to become emperor. Although Dangun Wanggeom ascended as the primordial emperor of Jejeongbunli in the imperial castle of Hanyang/Chang'an, if he lost that imperial castle, he could not maintain the status of emperor. Thus, the first coup occurred during the era of the first emperor after Jejeongbunli, Dangun Wanggeom. The protagonist is precisely feudal lord Yao in Chinese history. 1. Emperor Yao Tao Tong, Jejeodotong. Jejeodotong, Emperor Yao of Tong, is a figure appearing in Chinese history, and Chinese history fabricated him to be included in the Samhuang, 3 sovereigns, and Oj, 5 emperors. In other words, what is the difference between the Samhuang and Samje of Arian X and the Samhuang and Oj of Chinese history? Samhuang refers to Suwin, Taiho Boqi, and Yamje Shinnang, who were the political agents in the Dai Bep Wangchang, Great Papal Court of Dharma, during the era of Jejeongbunli. Samje refers to Soho Gumchian, Janyuk Goyang, and Jaegok Goshin, who were the political agents in Hanyang/Chang'an, where the imperial castle was located during the era of Jejeongbunli. Then, who exactly are Yao, and Shun, who are currently included in the Oj of Chinese history? Yao and Shun were precisely emperors appearing in the era of Jejeongbunli. They combined these figures with figures from the era of Jejeongbunli, erasing the chronological distinction between Jejeongbunli and Jejeongbunli in history. Samhuang, Samje were political agents of the Jejeongbunli era. Dangun Wanggeom was the primordial emperor of Jejeongbunli, and afterwards Yao and Shun appear as emperors in history. Yao and Shun are figures of Jejeongbunli. Therefore, Samhuang Oj in Chinese history is an incorrect and fabricated expression. Now, let's examine Yao, the protagonist of the first coup in the era of Jejeongbunli. Yao is also called Tong Yao, Dongyao, or Jejeodotong, Emperor Yao of Tong, and this is a title attached because Yao ruled the Tong region. Yao is also called the Tao Tong clan, Dodongshi, which is said to be because Yao initially lived in a region called Do and then moved to live in a region called Tong. The capital established by feudal lord Yao after succeeding in the coup, seizing the imperial castle, and founding a nation there is called Tongdo, Tong capital. In other words, because he succeeded in the rebellion seizing the imperial castle based on the Tong region and became emperor, he made Tong, the name of his base region, the national name. There was another figure who also became emperor based on this Tong region, and that person was Li Yuan, who founded the Tong dynasty. Then let's check if the fief of Li Yuan, the founder of the Tong dynasty, was the Tong region. Tong Gazu Li Yuan, 566 to 635, is the first emperor of the Tong dynasty in China, a wise ruler who put an end to the confusion of the Chinese continent for over 400 years. Li Yuan was born as the son of Yang Cheng, the Duke of Tong, Tong Go Kwang, and Grand Minister of Works of Western Wei, and Lady Lu. The fief of Li Yuan, the founder of the Tong dynasty, is also called Duke of Tong, Tong Go Kwang. That is why the country Li Yuan founded became the Tong dynasty. Now I will show this law of the emperor through the Sui dynasty. Sui Wendi Yangjian, 541 to 604, is the first emperor of the Sui dynasty in China, a wise ruler who put an end to the confusion of the Chinese continent for over 400 years. Yang Jian was born as the son of Yang Chang, the Duke of Sui, Sui Guoquang, and Grand Minister of Works of Western Wei, and Lady Lu. The fief of Yang Jian, the founder of the Sui dynasty, is also called Duke of Sui, Sui Guoquang. That is why the country Yang Jian founded became the Sui dynasty. 2. What is the land of Tang? So, feudal Lord Yao held Tang as a fief, and based on that, succeeded in the coup and seized the imperial castle. Then, let's reveal the identity of Tang. In Korean geography books, the military name of Namyang in Gyeonggi Province is called Dongsang, Tongside. The castle in the land of Tang is Dongsang, and I said this is the place name where the Buddha called Dongnim or Dongguru resided. Based on the land where the Buddha resided, he seized the imperial castle located at a close distance. 3. Positional relationship. Now then, let's first confirm the locations of where the primordial emperor of Jejeongbunli resided, and where Yao, who launched the coup, resided, and then enter the historical content of the coup. The place where the primordial emperor of Jejeongbunli resided was Hanyang/Chang'an, where the imperial castle was located. The place where Yao, who launched the coup, resided in Gyeongju/Namyang in history, where the Buddha resided, which was located at a very close distance. Now then, let's check the historical content.
Budoji, the historical land of the Bright Land. Through Budoji, the story of the Bright Land, let's infer the inner story of history regarding what exactly happened between Dangun Wanggeom, the primordial emperor of Jejeongbunli, and feudal Lord Yao, who launched the coup. Budoji, Chapter 17. At this time, feudal Lord Yao arose from the south of Chansan, Heavenly Mountain. He was a descendant of people who had left the castle, or Chulsang, once. He early on came and went to the gathering of Jesse, ritual city, and learned the way, or do, from the gon, or shield or leader, of the western fortress, Bo. Yao soon went out of the gate, gathered a crowd, and drove out the descendants of Miao, the supporters of Dangun Wanggeom. Later, because Dangun Wanggeom, the primordial emperor, led many people out of the imperial castle, Yao took the opportunity when the imperial castle was empty and attacked him, so the Miaoye, the descendants of Miao, the supporters of Dangun Wanggeom, finally scattered to the three directions of east, west, and north. Yao, who launched the coup, soon demarcated the land of the 9 provinces, or Gyuju, created a nation, called himself the emperor living in the center of 5, or Ojong, established Tangdo, or Tang capital, and confronted Budo. While Dangun Wanggeom, the primordial emperor of Jejeongbunli, emptied the imperial castle and toured the world for state affairs, the feudal Lord Yao, at a close distance, who held the place where the Buddha resided as a fief, led troops and raided the imperial castle, a natural fortress. The primordial emperor Dangun Wanggeom, who intended to execute politics with benevolence and righteousness following the will of the Buddha, fell into a truly difficult situation. I quote the content of sending subjects to feudal Lord Yao to persuade him. Accordingly, the primordial emperor Dangun Wanggeom was deeply worried about the rebellion of feudal Lord Yao and had the father and son of the Yuho clan descendants of the Yuan clan, who were leaders of humanity in the past, lead about 100 people including widowers or huanbu and influential scholars or guansa to go and enlighten feudal Lord Yao. Yao, who succeeded in the coup, welcomed them, obeyed the orders, treated them politely, and had them live in Harbin. The Yuho clan silently observed the situation, taught people by themselves, and moved their residence several times. Father and son of the Yuho clan. The son of the Yuho clan is Yusun, Shun of Yu, one of the Oj, or 5 emperors in Chinese history. The Western land calls him Emperor Shun. Emperor Shun, BC 2284 to 2224. This is during the reign of the primordial emperor Dangun Wanggeom, BC 2333 to 2240. We even saw the scene where the primordial emperor sent a subject to persuade Yao, who launched the coup. This was precisely the society of Jejeongbunli. However, Korean history books say that Usun of the Yuho clan, one of the 5 emperors appearing in Chinese history, was the eldest son of the Yuho clan, a subject of Dangun Wanggeom. Then we can see that all current Chinese history has been fabricated. Feudal Lord Yao in Korean history. However, there is a scene where feudal Lord Yao appearing in Chinese history also appears in Korean history. I quote Hongjai Genso, the collection of writings of King Jeongjo, the emperor of Joseon, the last dynasty of Korea. The stage of Hongjai Genso was Hwasong, Suwon, and it was said that the Apang Palace of Emperor Qin Shi Huang was here. Recited on the day of the banquet or Jinchan in Hwasong and shown to various subjects participating in the feast to convey the sincerity of blessings for a myriad years. Greet the new command with great blessings. Blowing the Sanghuang and Tunso makes youth stay. The land accords with Guanhua, the sound of Samchuk rises. The sun reaches Yuhongjel, climbing to the 60th year. Inner guests and outer guests are just a gathering in the flowering forest. Eastern order and Western order are people more beautiful than flowers. I wish every year to be joyful like today. How many rounds of wine have circulated inside Jeonglakdong? The phrase "the land accords with Guanhua, the sound of Samchuk rises" comes from the story that when King Yao, who became emperor by launching a coup, went out to see the land of Hua, the border guard of the Hua land blessed King Yao with 3 things: longevity, or Su, wealth, or Bu, and many sons, or Danam Yaja. It is said that King Yao, the protagonist who launched the coup, was in the place where the emperor of Joseon, the last dynasty of Korea, resided. However, the stage Jeonglakdong appearing in the verse was the place where Liu Bong, the emperor who founded the Han dynasty in Chinese history, resided. This was precisely the secret of Korean and Chinese history overlapping. The stage in Korean history was precisely the stage in Chinese history. In the next episode, I will show you the scene where Emperor Yao, who succeeded in the coup, wins over Usun, the son of the Yuho clan dispatched by Dangun Wanggeom and one of the 5 emperors in Chinese history, to make him his own man and then perishes. Please refer to the attached blog for details regarding the YouTube video release schedule and titles, as well as the title and table of contents of the prepared book. https://blog.naver.com/GOKIMIGARCIA